You're hearing an interview feature from Echoes, the nightly music soundscape heard on stations across the U.S. and online at echoes.org.
Robin Guthrie has defined a style of electric guitar with heavy electronic processing dipped in infinite reverb. But don't ask him to sit down and pluck a simple acoustic instrument.
I sort of live in fear of turning up at someone's home and the guitar sitting there and they ask me to play a Bob Dylan song or something like that, because it's just really not something that I'm capable of.
Harold Budd plays piano, but claims he can't really play fast. And if he walked into a bar, he couldn't sit down and play As Time Goes By or any other standard.
I can't. I don't have that skill.
Yet both musicians have defined a style on their respective instruments that have hundreds of adherents and imitators. Robin Guthrie founded the Cocteau Twins, and in the 1970s and 80s, they created an atmospheric, echo-drenched brand of rock that has had followers from Slowdive to Ulrich Schnauz. Harold Budd created ambient chamber music through his collaborations with Brian Eno and a string of recordings throughout the 1980s and 90s. The two musicians are an unlikely pair. Harold Budd is a laconic and elegantly refined musician, moving through his early 70s. Robin Guthrie, now in his mid-40s, came of age in Scotland during the punk movement. But they got together in 1986 for the album The Moon and the Melodies, a collaboration between the Cocteau Twins and Budd. Robin Guthrie is known for pensive music, but speaking from his home in France, he says the first time he heard Harold Budd, he experienced pensive in a new dimension.
I thought, it was really slow, isn't it?
The Moon and the Melodies became something of a cult hit, and the two musicians also worked on Harold Budd's album, The White Arcades. But it was some 15 years before they came together again to score the soundtrack to Mysterious Skin. While both musicians favor contemplative moods, their approaches are very different.
Harold loves those black notes, and I have a real problem with them. Not being a proper musician and all that, so I've got to tune my guitar differently to accommodate and things, but that works fine.
Guthrie is a master of opulent and textured reverberant spaces. It's a signature of his work with the Cocteau Twins and on solo albums like Continental and Imperial. Before he plays a note, Guthrie designs a sound.
I think what I do is I sort of spend ages and ages and ages tweaking up a sound just till I get it just creamy and just how I like it. And then my fingers kind of just go for themselves, you know what I mean? When the sound's right, the actual musical content comes very, very easily.
Harold Budd is in his garage studio in Los Angeles, a bare-bones affair with one electronic keyboard and a computer. Robin Guthrie creates the perfect landscape for Budd, who dispenses notes as if each one is a precious drop of water on a desert crossing.
The nature of Robin's music is largely textural and gestural rather than melodic. It lends itself to all different kinds of ways of adding to it. My piano playing is obviously not made up of melodies and things. That's not what I do. So it's very easy, I think, for a person who plays basically textural guitar to add to it, because it's not destroying a melodic line, because there isn't one.
Although Harold Budd and Robin Guthrie ensconced themselves in a San Francisco studio for a week to record, Budd insists they didn't actually ever play together.
There was a photographer who came in and took a lot of pictures. The pictures are dishonest, and I told him that because it shows Robin with his guitar and me at the piano, and we don't work that way. That's not the way it's done. We work separately in different rooms.
But that's not quite Robin Guthrie's recollection.
On the 2 albums, the twins that have just come out, that's us really working in the studio together, at least in the recording sense.
Oh, well, listen, sometimes Robin was playing, and I was in another room playing simultaneously.
But for Robin Guthrie, it was clearly more of a communal experience.
Because it was very, very live, there's a certain anticipation that we both have. We're both sort of looking at each other and sort of empathizing, sonically, I guess, but certainly with the heart, because, that was quite an emotional recording session.
Whether working together or separately, Harold Budd and Robin Guthrie crafted a pristine pair of recordings that still have a charged emotional intensity.
The dichotomy is that some pieces that come out sounding very serene are really, really tormented inside, and the inverse is true as well,
Both Harold Budd and Robin Guthrie have been busy since they recorded their CDs. Guthrie is working on a new film score and a new album, while Budd has an internet-only solo piano recording called Perhaps. Their CDs together are After the Night Falls and Before the Day Breaks. For Echoes, I'm Kimberly Haas.
I'm John DiLibretto from Echoes. I hope you've enjoyed this production of Echoes. To hear more features and music like this, sign up for Echoes Online, our 24-hour on-demand music soundscape service. It's at echoes.org. That's Echoes, ECHOES.org, O-R-G. This is a production of Echoes which holds all rights. Duplication, sale, broadcast, or distribution of this production in any fashion is strictly prohibited without the express consent of Echoes.